The world is buzzing. A new age is dawning. It promises everything. AI is designing novel antibiotics to combat deadly superbugs, fueling GDP growth, saving the planet. But is it enterprise ready? Because there's AI, and then there's enterprise AI. Not a single technology, a practice, a strategic discipline to infuse AI into your operations. And to make enterprise AI work, you've got to answer at least 3 questions. What does your AI need to know? Where do you even start? How does it work with everything else? That's why we're here. Welcome to Celosphere. Let's make enterprise AI work.
Please welcome Celonis co-founder and co-CEO, Alexander Rinke.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Celosphere 2025. I want to start the brass quintet. Start by thanking the brass quintet and Sam, our coding DJ. That was really, really cool. Big round of applause. Let's go. We have a packed house here in Munich, and it's so great to be back here with all of you. Our customers, our partners, many, many old friends, and hopefully also many new friends. You are my favorite type of people. The people who see endless opportunity where others see difficulty. Who bring real vision and clarity where others just see challenges. And the vision that you've been painting is very, very exciting. It's of an enterprise of the future that is AI-driven and composable. An enterprise, our enterprises, that can improve continuously using AI to automate what you do every single day. An enterprise that can adapt instantly, reinventing your operations on the fly and pivoting at the very, very rapid pace of change. And this last one is very important. An enterprise that can innovate freely, taking the best of all the tools available to you to compose solutions that are decoupled from your current legacy systems. And it all starts with seizing one of the biggest opportunities in front of us to make AI work in the enterprise. That's a really big deal. It's the theme of every conference. It's a theme in every one of your boardrooms. And it's also a headline in all the news. AI projects are probably on top of everybody's list. And you can trust me, they're the one thing that you guys are going to get budget for this year. And when we talk about AI, we are not talking about ChatGPT. That's part of it. That's generative AI. What we are talking about this week is enterprise AI. And enterprise AI is very, very different. It's not about a single technology. It's about a strategic practice. The discipline of infusing intelligence throughout your entire operations. And it brings together a lot of things. It brings together operational intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, all the way to generative and agentic AI. And it powers everything from algorithmic recommendations, to predictions, to assistants, to co-pilots, to agents, to workflows, and to intelligent apps. And if we manage to infuse enterprise AI into your operations, it can transform your business and drive a huge amount of impact. And it brings this vision of the AI-driven and composable enterprise within reach. But we are at Celosphere, and we also have to be honest. Right? We all feel the excitement, but something is still missing. AI has yet to fulfill its true potential. Right? You saw some stats in the video. One of my favorite stats is IDC. IDC says that only 11% of companies get any type of benefit, measurable benefit, from their AI projects today. Isn't that crazy? 11%? Any benefit? So what that means is that the ROI, or we like to call it the ROAI, just isn't there yet. We know it and we can all feel it. I remember being on a Christmas vacation in 2022, and ChatGPT had just come out. You remember that? I think it came out in November or so. And I was on Christmas vacation, seeing my family. They were all excited. I was only excited about ChatGPT. I was on this like 24/7, and then I wasn't just terrorizing my family, I was also terrorizing everybody at Celonis, right? I was texting people, like, this is going to change everything, we have to incorporate this, Gunther is laughing. And I thought it's going to change everything within like a few months. And I still believe it will, and it's starting to, but we've also all learned that it's harder than we thought. And why is this the case? Why is the most promising technology of our lifetime so far falling pretty flat? Because to make it work, to make enterprise AI really work, there are three things it needs. One, it needs to understand the context of how your business runs. That stuff isn't on the internet, hopefully not, right? And it's very, very complicated. Second, it needs to be deployed strategically and in the right places. Right? You have large companies, many, many functions, many, many processes. You need to deploy it in the right spots. And, this is very, very important, it needs to work together with everything else that you're already doing. So let's talk about those three. So the first one, the problem is that your data today is trapped inside individual systems. And it's not just about the systems, because essential context about how your business runs is not just in these systems, it's spread out across process designs, enterprise architecture diagrams, log files, documents, emails, and more. And then some actions that your people take in their day-to-day business, like the clicks and the copy-paste and in between the system hops, they're not even captured anywhere. So you lack a holistic picture of your operations. And of course, as a result of that, AI is missing that context. And how could it be different? The second is that AI solutions are often deployed with the loudest voice in the room. Right? Someone is really excited, really charismatic, and they deploy an AI solution, rather than having really a data-driven understanding of where it's going to move the needle and where it can improve your business outcomes. And then even when you get lucky and you have a solution that drives some measurable results, there's often no clear roadmap about what's next. And then third, siloed AI solutions are not going to go very far. Right? Everybody's bringing out their vendor-specific agents. But they are very limited to those vendors' domain applications. And every vendor is obviously more focused on selling their own agents than making sure that those agents work with everything else that you're already doing. You need to be able to intelligently coordinate people, AI solutions, and your existing technology investments to orchestrate outcomes across the entire business. So what enterprise AI needs is a shared understanding of how your business actually runs and the ability to improve it. So let's think for a minute. What is the most accurate description of how your business actually runs? The most accurate description of how your business actually runs. Well, how could it be different? It's, of course, the humble process. Right? And this is where process intelligence comes in. The missing layer that completes your AI stack to make enterprise AI truly work. And this is what the Celonis Process Intelligence Platform does. We start by freeing the process, freeing it from the restrictions of your current legacy systems. Our data core extracts raw data from those systems, but not just from systems, from applications now, devices, you're going to hear a lot more about that, and it lets you query billions and billions of records at speed. We've made a lot of progress with our data core so that you can really scale it to the largest enterprise volume. So you get all this data. Then we don't stop there. We take this data and we enrich it with your unique business context, rules, KPIs, benchmarks, models, even enterprise architecture diagrams to mirror the reality of your business operations. And this way, we are building a living digital twin of your operations that is completely system agnostic and without any bias. That's exciting. And this is our process intelligence graph, or how we like to call it, our PIC. And this is the PIC. And the PIC provides the missing operational context enterprise AI needs to succeed. We've invested in this for a long time. It's very hard, but it's really, really exciting. And it's also very, very unique. You obviously can't get it from any of your systems, and you can't get it from any other vendor. And this is why I can say with total conviction, there is no AI without PI. And with Celonis, your AI finally knows how your business flows. So on top of this graph, the Process Intelligence Platform now provides you the capabilities to do three things: to analyze, design, and operate AI-driven processes. And so these capabilities we've really built to support your full enterprise AI lifecycle. They enable basically to effectively help you integrate AI into your operations. And they are the building blocks that you and your partners can use to create composable solutions. Our analysis capabilities allow you to discover the process and where to strategically deploy AI into that process. So it means that AI understands how your business runs and how to improve it. Whether this is by automating and fixing something, or my favorite, preventing something altogether. And best thing is if we just can prevent something, we don't even have to do it. Then you have our design capabilities, so that you can redesign your target state based on these insights that you gain from analysis, and you can plan how the process should run better in the future. You can set outcomes, guardrails, AI insertion points, and even draw on many, many best practice blueprints to help you. And lastly, you can now operate these new or improved processes, orchestrating AI solutions directly within your existing workflows. So you can make sure that agents, humans, and systems operate in sync towards shared outcomes, while you sit there and monitor the performance and count the dollars, measure the impact. So AI is the context it needs, it's deployed in the right places, and it integrates seamlessly into your organization, transforming your processes into AI-driven operations. This is enterprise AI powered by PI. In the future with enterprise AI, businesses will deploy AI-driven composable solution without constraints. Our philosophy is very, very simple. We give you building blocks, and you compose the future. Our platform is 100% built to be open. Because no matter where you build, you deserve choice. You need interoperability. And you should be able to modernize your business on whose terms? Well, of course, on your own terms, right? You want to work with the partners that know your business best, because good things grow from open ecosystems. The only thing that's not growing here on the slide are the logos, right? Because they get smaller every year. And you have really exciting partners, and we have a lot of exciting partnership announcements this week. You see powerhouses here like Genpact and Wipro and IBM, specialized technology leaders like Microsoft, Databricks, or smaller independent software companies like Bloomfilter, Rolio, and many others. These guys are your co-creators. They're helping you create value in your deployments. They are extending our platform every single day, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. They have built dozens of new applications. You can see many of them out on the floor, on top of Celonis, to help you solve very industry-specific challenges. And they're even building more composable solutions, fueled by the one thing that makes enterprise AI truly work: process intelligence. Ultimately, we strongly believe that making enterprise AI work won't be the work of a single company. It will be the work of an entire community. This community right here, right now. Customers and partners, all of us working together to make enterprise AI a reality and build the enterprise of the future. AI-driven and composable. And today we're going to show you exactly how that looks like. But we have something even better, because we're not just showcasing Celonis, we're going to showcase you different pioneers at different stages of their journey. Customers and partners who are freeing the process, building their digital twins, and using Celonis to enable AI-driven operations. And these guys are really shaping the enterprise of the future, so it will be very, very interesting. And up first, someone very, very special, we have Mercedes-Benz, one of the most iconic brands in the world. And they will show us how a living digital twin can become the blueprint for transformation and provide visibility and control over their entire supply chain. Let's take a look.
Mercedes-Benz being a leading car manufacturer, of course, digitalization plays a super important role for our whole operations network.
We want our customer to feel the difference. We want to have the cars delivered in speed and the right quality and service.
The use cases that Celonis was able to provide very, very fast during the semiconductor crisis, these were exactly the ones that helped us to manage this crisis in a better way.
Like a digital twin for the process. We have the possibility now to dig in at every single data point.
Data can improve quality and improve culture.
It made myself and my team process experts, and we're now working closely together with departments we didn't even know before. And now we can face the same process, the same issues, and work together to optimize it.
It's amazing how fast we are able now to onboard data and systems. Nearly a system every week.
Celonis' AI capabilities are really impressive because the first step is to make your processes transparent and to identify bottlenecks with process mining. If you've done that, you can then apply AI to this, use agents, and really move the whole thing to the next level.
I would definitely say that Celonis is a game changer for us. And with the transparency we gain, we definitely can steer inventory better tomorrow than we do it today.
Please welcome Celonis co-founder and co-CEO Bastian Naumenacker and Jörg Berzer, member of the Board of Management of Mercedes-Benz Group AG.
Great to see you all here today, and a big welcome to Jörg. Thank you for joining us today. It's amazing to see what Mercedes does with Celonis technology. We're honored to work with you. And yeah, we wanted to talk a bit today how you guys are using our technology and also your view how it works. And maybe we can start at the beginning and talk a bit about how everything started with the semiconductor crisis and what brought you to Celonis and why.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. It's amazing. Behind the stage, it looks like a spaceship, so it's pretty cool here. I come again, I think. Well, how did it start? You know, in the last 5-6 years, we had many challenges in automotive industry. And one of the challenges, we call it semi-challenge. So this was the semiconductor crisis. It sometimes comes again, as we all know, in the last weeks. But this was a pretty interesting challenge because we had a lot of data. We had data in the plants, we had data from suppliers, we had data in the outbound logistics and logistics processes, but we were not able to get this data connected because the data was in silos. And we were looking for a partner who really would be able to connect this data and show us where the real challenges are. And well, we looked around, we found you, you're a pretty nice guy, you have a great team, and then we said, well, let's choose Celonis, and this was the right choice. We started, and we delivered quickly results, and I would say one of the reasons why we mastered this challenge was also because of you, so thank you very much.
No, no, thank you. And it's exactly these mission-critical topics that excite us at Celonis. That's where we have built the company. And maybe we can talk a bit more about really your vision for digital transformation at Mercedes-Benz in your area of responsibility and where you are currently and where you want to take the company.
Well, our vision, it's not my vision, it's the vision of the Mercedes team. And by the way, there are some of our colleagues here today. Is to really use the full potential of digitalization. How do we do that? In automotive industry, or in the traditional automotive OEMs, organizations and data are organized according to value chains. So you have R&D, you have production operations, you have logistics, you have sales. And that's sometimes a big challenge because all these guys, they think they own the data. What we want to do is we want to bring the data out of the silos. We want to connect the data, and one of the most important topics is we want to democratize data. So we want to use the data which is available in the silos and give it to the people who really can work with the data. This is one of the most important topics, and Celonis is helping us with that.
Yeah, and I have been very impressed, and thank you for inviting me to come to your plant, for example, in Berlin, and to see how you really bring this to the shop floor, to everyone in the organization. And this is, I think, particularly why we also created our process intelligence graph, because we want to bring this silos together and drive it. So I'm curious, where do you see like Celonis as part of this transformation going on, and where can we help you with that?
So based on the experience we had in our first, I would say, interaction in the semi-crisis or in the semi-challenge, we want obviously to grow with you in terms of our digitalization efforts, especially in operations. So Celonis is one of, for us, a cornerstone and really a role model how you can bring all this data together. We want to roll that out to more and more processes, from supply chain processes, to production processes, to quality processes, to after-sales processes. So that's what we're currently doing. We recently announced in our board, the Mercedes board, an end-to-end process challenge and competition. Which area can bring the best end-to-end process together? And from the 10 most important processes, I think we work with you in 8 of them or something like that. So that just shows how important your role is in our company.
Yeah, and I really love that challenge. I was very excited when the team told me about it, and I said, who should be better suited than we? And we have lined up the best team, so I know that they're working on that.
Let's see.
And going also to your new area of responsibility on the engineering side, I think that will be very exciting as we go more and more like across all the different processes in the organization. And as we have been now working together for about 3 years, how do you see the achievements of the partnership so far?
Well, the growth, which I just mentioned, is proof for itself that our partnership is extremely successful. So again, coming back to 3 years ago, obviously what we have seen is that it makes sense to work with you, and it's a very successful partnership. What was interesting is that it's not only talking about data, it's also showing data to the teams. And this is pretty interesting, because if you show data and the connection of data with your ability to visualize that in a system, the process intelligence graph, for example, we also learn about our processes for ourselves. So it's clear for us where is a bottleneck, where do we have to work in our system, but also in our culture even better. And I think this is one of the most important topics, that we are not only changing processes, we are also changing culture with you.
Yeah, and I have been always impressed when we always did our reviews, the regular meetings, and you came also from EBC to Munich, that you always had this strong focus in bringing the organization along this culture, or I said the democratization. I think that's key, because we have later today also our Changemaker Awards. You can obviously have the best technology, but bringing along the organization is so important, and thank you for pushing that. And Alex has been talking a lot about enterprise AI and where Celonis with our enhanced capabilities can be going there. But I'm curious on your view and how do you see how Celonis can enable AI at Mercedes?
Well, first of all, AI is the thing for us in automotive industry, in automotive production, in automotive R&D, in automotive sales. And for us, it's really a driver to not only changing our efficiency, but also, as I said, our culture. What we did also 3-4 years ago, we installed, we call it a digitalization production ecosystem. We call it MO360, Mercedes Operations 360 degree, which enabled us to move all data which is generated in our production equipment to a cloud. And as we all know, for using AI, we need, first of all, we need data availability. With that, we can now drive AI, but what is also important is that it's not only about the processes, it's also about the product. You might have heard that we are now starting with the Mercedes-Benz operating system in our cars in the new CLA. By the way, what are you driving? We talk privately. But the CLA, as you might have heard, there's a famous automotive newspaper, if I can do some advertisement for our cars now, and it's the best ever tested car in the history of this newspaper. So if you're interested in the CLA with the new Mercedes-Benz operating system, buy this car. But anyway, it is also interesting. It's also interesting not only to have this Mercedes-Benz operating system in the product, but also in the process. It's a pretty interesting challenge to bring that and integrate that also in the plants. For example, in traditional automotive industry, we treated software versions with part numbers. So this is how we were thinking in the last years. We changed that now. We use AI to bring always the latest software version right in the production line at the car. You mentioned the Digital Factory Campus. What are we doing there? This is in Berlin, in our oldest manufacturing plant. We transformed that into a center of excellence for artificial intelligence. What we're doing there, we're training our people who are coming from the shop floor, who have experience with coding, and move them from a production worker and change them from a production worker to a software engineer. And they are coming to our center of excellence where we're working with Celonis. And we're working at the end generating AI solutions for that.
No, thank you for giving an insight there, and I agree. I think there's so much we can be doing, in particular with the data assets that you already have in place with the MO360, what we have in the different type of areas. So that's very, very excited. I'm looking forward to that, and I think this is also why it's such an honor for us at Celonis to work with you. You have outstanding products, beautiful cars, and with that, maybe let me ask as a last question: what's your vision for the next years? Where you see the things going before we close the session?
Well, the next years will be challenging, as the last 5 years were, because we are facing so many, sometimes also exciting challenges. We have new competition coming from China, for example. Well, we have challenges on the geopolitical side, and so on and so forth. What we are doing now, and the IAA in Munich showed that as a German automotive industries, and I'm not talking only about Mercedes, I'm talking about our colleagues here in Munich, and so on and so forth. We really showed that we can make a difference, also in terms of technology. And I don't care about, is it now the Mercedes GLC or the iX3 from BMW? Great cars with great technology, and I think this is a signal to the world. What we are doing at Mercedes, we call it next level production. 2 topics: making our plants flexible in terms of electric transformation. So we can and we will be able to produce on one line ICEs, combustion engine cars, but also electric cars. This is driving a lot of complexity in the plants, and that's why we need digitalization in Celonis to master this complexity at the lines. One topic. Second topic, just another example, humanoid robots. We are bringing humanoid robots now step by step in our plants. Why we're doing that? Because this is the perfect combination, a symbiosis of artificial intelligence and intelligent mechanics together. And also here we need data. So data is everywhere. So that's my vision for the future, our vision for the future.
No, thank you very much, Jörg, for sharing this with us. Thank you for the partnership with Celonis. And with that, thanks for the great conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Go.
Thank you. Mr. Dalas? Okay.
We used across the enterprise for a company like Mercedes, but up next we have also something very exciting. We'll see how Winmar is using Celonis capabilities to drive towards autonomous operation. So let's roll the video.
Winmar is a global distributor of plastics and chemicals with an incredibly complex supply chain involving hundreds of parties on almost every continent.
To manage that, we're using Celonis to help orchestrate our teams, AI, and automations, making them all work as one.
It gets everybody rowing the boat in the same direction. Our prioritization is the same with everybody. So we know what we have to do and everybody knows their parts that they have to do with it.
We now have a single AI-driven dashboard for majority of our plastic order-to-cash process, giving our team one source of truth for all orders. Booking a carrier, for example, used a very manual process. Now Celonis automatically reviews all potential carriers and vessels, and AI returns the top 3 optimal options according to our criteria. The team gives the confirmation approval, and Celonis handles the rest.
We are in the process of automating the whole Winmar plastic orders to cash process on Celonis. When we get there, the majority of our orders will be processed automatically by Celonis, and our team can focus on the high-quality work of problem solving.
Intelligently coordinating actions across people, AI, and automation, we are accelerating everything we do, freeing up teams and delivering a better experience for our customers. We are using Celonis as the foundation for autonomous operations.
Please welcome Celonis co-founder and co-CEO Alexander Rinke and Vishal Goradia, CEO of Winmar.
Vishal, thank you so much. You didn't just come all the way from Houston, you're also the CEO of Winmar, so you're a very busy man. We really appreciate you being here and sharing your story.
Thank you, Alex.
So Vishal, Winmar is not an ordinary company and you're not an ordinary CEO. It's actually a family business. Tell us a little bit more about your history.
Yeah, thanks again for having me. This is an amazing event and your team has done a great job. Winmar is my family's business, founded by my uncle in 1978. He and my father are the principal owners. I took over as CEO from my father in 2021 after 16 years with the company at the end of this year. We'll finish this year at about a little over $4 billion in revenue worldwide. That comes from our team of 1,500 employees in 36 offices around the world.
Amazing story. So we've got a glimpse in the video of what you and the team have been working on. And for you, I think the interesting point for me was you didn't just focus on improving the order-to-cash process, putting some fixes in. You said we want to completely reimagine it.
That's right.
Yeah.
What we are using Celonis for is the foundation for our automation and our AI strategy. We've been able to transform a $3 billion unit, our biggest business unit. Their order-to-cash process is now fully automated. It's intelligent and it seamlessly integrates across our different pieces of software. Most importantly, our SAP ERP, our transportation management system, documentation management, and a variety of other systems that our supply chain team uses every day.
It's super exciting. Yeah, I mean, I think this coordination across the different systems is really, really exciting. I mean, I want to talk a little bit about something else, which is, you know, this. I think it's a question a lot of people here have in their minds, which is this transformation is very, very exciting, but it can also lead to friction because there's a lot of change and you need to get people on board. How did you do that?
That's right. And to answer that, I should go back to how did the need for Celonis arise? We've been using SAP since the early 2000s. It's a key component of our business, as it is for anybody that uses SAP or a similar type of ERP system. But we didn't want to be locked into only using SAP. So we began adding different software tools to our workflow. That created a tremendous amount of complexity for our supply chain organization, where I think at its worst, they had to go through 6 different screens in order to execute one order. Every time they had to move from one system to another, that was a manual change. What we've been able to do is deploy Celonis as that layer over all of our systems to give them a single piece of software to use. And that's how you approach it. You approach it by solving a problem for the employee. So for us, AI, automation, this is not about replacing people's jobs. It's about making those jobs better. It's about solving problems so that we can deploy people on things that are much more value added, like problem solving.
So you just talked about productivity, basically. What outcomes can you see in the business? And as a CEO, how is this enabling your strategy also for the future?
That's a great question. So we've already measured about a 40% productivity improvement for our supply chain team. That means that each individual that we have can handle 40% more orders than before. That's going to enable us to achieve our organic growth pipeline, which I believe could be as high as 33% over the next 24 months.
Wow.
And as long as we're able to increase our revenue at a faster rate than our SG&A, we'll know that our business is improving. Celonis is letting us do that.
Fantastic. And you've also, let's talk about your IT strategy a little bit. You told me that you've been consolidating to basically 3 really strategic platforms. Tell us a little bit about what those choices are, what drove them, and why.
That's right. So, of course, Microsoft is critical to everything that we do with the Office suite of products, Outlook, et cetera. SAP as well. As I mentioned, we've been on SAP for about a quarter century. At the time that we implemented, we were maybe 800 million in revenue, so relatively small customer for SAP. We've grown into the system. And I remember when I first got introduced to Celonis, and I was speaking to your executive team at the time, I said, for me to add a third critical software vendor is actually not a trivial thing. We, as business owners and as a family business where we count kind of every dollar that we spend, when we tie ourselves to a third party, which we have absolutely done with Celonis, it requires a lot of thought and it requires a lot of trust to know that relationship is going to be a successful one, that you're going to grow with us and let us grow in a way that we can continue to afford. We are a much smaller business than Mercedes. And so our IT budgets are always going to be tighter and much more focused. So we were able to build that confidence. And I think one of the interesting facts about Celonis is that the Celonis that we are working with today is not the company that we first met and that we first implemented. You've grown so far beyond simply process mapping and are now playing the role of being our operating system for order execution. I'm confident that you're going to continue innovating and that you're going to continue finding new applications that Vinmar is going to be able to deploy.
Thank you so much. It really means a lot to us. We don't take that lightly. And thank you for the partnership. Talk a little bit about, now that you have done it in order to cash, you have built this blueprint for transformation, your business is growing very fast. What is your vision? And what does your journey look like to really get this AI future-fit organization?
Absolutely. My goal is for Vinmar to be the most technology-forward plastics distributor in the world, and Celonis is a big part of that. We've already used Celonis to automate a number of the pure formulaic tasks. So anything that can be algorithmically defined, we're able to code that into Celonis and create a kind of automation that works pretty well. What we are now tackling with your team now is on the more nuanced types of solutions, where an AI agent has to use some sort of discretion, where it's not a pure algorithm. So I'll give you one example. We are a distribution business. That means we're buying and we're selling. And for every single transaction, of which we have tens of thousands a year, we have to match a purchase order with a sales order. Now, in many cases, there are multiple purchase orders that could be matched to a given sales order or vice versa. Our goal, and one of our key value in use projects with Celonis, is to identify how we can design an agentic AI that's able to do that allocation process for us, which today is extremely manual. And so it's these kinds of non-algorithmic automations that I'm excited for as the next step.
So I think you made me very excited and a lot of people here. What's your advice to the audience in terms of emulating your success?
Well, and this may be easier said than done in a family business at our size, but the way that we approached Celonis with our team was that we want everybody's input, that this is not about replacing jobs, it's about making jobs better, that we want it to be a collaborative, value-added tool for our employees, because fundamentally, people will not adopt something unless it's useful, but that this is happening. And that is a very important element of the conversation when implementing something internally. We are going to improve our process. We are going to deploy technology. We want to do it in a constructive and collaborative way, but we cannot afford opposition. We cannot afford anyone that doesn't share that vision.
Love it. Big round of applause. Thank you, Vishal. Thank you. So finally, let's now see how you and your partners can create composable AI solutions for the enterprise. Juniper and Microsoft have partnered with us to deploy AI agents end-to-end across the enterprise. Let's take a look.
Juniper is an energy company supplying millions of customers in Europe with energy.
We need to restructure our gas portfolio into greener gases, hydrogen, for example.
Unfortunately, not all the silos are always talking to each other. And with Celonis and AI, we can visualize and improve the entire value chain.
We have established AI agents in our generation business for hydropower plants. We are balancing workload and optimizing the daily work.
The first time I saw Celonis in action was with a hydropower plant. And that was mind-blowing.
What we're currently doing is trying to predict maintenance and to club maintenance together so that we can be more predictable, we can do it more safe, but also cheaper because we don't have to shut down our systems as often as possible. So that will help us to deliver better and cheaper power to our customers.
The partnership came very natural between Microsoft and Celonis and Juniper.
The synergy between Microsoft AI and Celonis' process intelligence really unlock a new level of enterprise capability.
I would like to bring this partnership with Celonis really into every aspect of the enterprise domain model at Juniper.
Juniper sees AI and data as a strategic enabler for our business strategy.
Being in a partnership is for me not a technical, formal relationship. It's all about the people. If you have a good relationship with the people and you're willing to work together on progressing, then for me that's the key, and that's something that we definitely see with Celonis.
Please welcome Hans Pertzold, CIO of Juniper, and Agnes Heftberger, CVP and CEO, Microsoft Germany and Austria, in conversation with Bastian Nomenacker and Karsten Thoma.
So here we are again, and as you have seen in this video, like Juniper, Microsoft, and Celonis have been working over the last months on a very, very exciting partnership. So Hans and Agnes, thank you for being here with us, that Karsten and I can really talk with you about this exciting project and about these topics, I think, which actually I've been hearing over the course of the last year a lot from our customers, everything, how you can really deploy AI at scale in the organization. And maybe Hans, if we can already start looking a bit in what brought you to starting this project? What was the initial get-go? to start with this very bold vision.
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Bastian, but also the whole Celonis team, and also thank you for you and the audience to listen about our use cases. And actually, it's not a project, because we have a long-time relationship. So Bastian is ignoring that we are working together since 2017 already. But in that specific project, we are quite proud because we have managed to get the process insights and combine that, in fact, with executionable AI to help our users. And that is unique. It's such unique for us that we now also scale that kind of solution. By the way, you can see that because there's also a use case. And I could go into that. But the fundamental combination now between process intelligence, but also then execution with the help of Gen AI, machine learning, AI in general, with Copilot, that was thrilling and was a great journey so far.
No, thank you, Hans. And absolutely, you're right. It's not a project. It's like we appreciate a long-term working with Juniper and driving that. And maybe, Agnes, if you can tell us a bit really what is, from your work, what you observe with your customers, what is really the challenges they have in operationalizing AI?
Sure. And first of all, it's super great to be here. Challenge is not so much building AI functionality, but really doing it at scale and going from a phase of many, many pilots to something that is really in production and, like Hans says, isn't one defined project, but really changes a company. And there are many challenges to tackle. There are data silos, fragments, there are concerns on governance, there are sometimes trust requirements, sometimes even trust issues, and kind of bringing this all together in an end-to-end strategy and also an end-to-end movement to skill up people, to address culture. Those are the challenges that I see the most prevailing and also the hardest to tackle. But given the opportunity, there is no way around it. We need to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we need to find ways how to really unlock and drive that. And a big part of that is really the stack that's needed to become really an AI-driven company. So Hans, I know you have been thinking a lot about that. What's your view on that?
Yeah, first of all, maybe I'm talking as a CIO, so I'm focusing on information. But I'm also working in Juniper in a utility company. And maybe I give that example based on that concrete project, because that's quite then tangible. First of all, we are in Munich. There's the Rhine, there's the Main, there's the Danube. And actually in all of these rivers, there are Juniper hydropower plants. That's renewables. Renewable energy since more than 100 years, actually. Now, these power plants are in the riverbeds, and they always need to be some repair, etc. So we have a lot of systems, as you said, a lot of data supporting that kind of maintenance, for example, repairs. So you need to have some spare parts, you need to repair them. All the systems, the SAP, the Ariba, even the workforce management, the HR system, for sure also the ITSM, your ServiceNow, all these different systems need to work together, and you have information in these systems. But most likely this information is not always there. So what is the use case? The use case is that we typically schedule maintenance on static dates. And then if someone is showing up, missing parts or the wrong parts. So you might think, oh, what a thrilling use case. Why haven't you fixed that? Because typically you have an enterprise resource planning system and it's all working seamlessly. Confessions of a CIO, the enterprise IT is very, very complicated. Yeah. So you need to connect the dots, and that's where process intelligence kicks in. Because that process intelligence tells us where we currently are dynamically in that process. So we enrich this information for the users, made some predictions, because by history we also know that some parts are typically quite often missing, or there was some master data problem. So we use AI to fix that problem, to nudge suppliers, the foremans, the planners, to inform them, so that when everyone shows up and you have an idle technician to repair, he's on time, at the right moment, with the right spare parts. And that reduces downtime. Downtime means cost. Downtime also means reducing downtime, higher performance. But ultimately, it also reduces CO2. Because if a hydropower plant is not working, someone else needs to kick in. And we have to fuel. So that's the use case, and that maybe explains the combination between information, get that awareness, but also then execute and help the individual users, because the individual users can't oversee the whole process. He's not capable to do that, but now we have that technology to do that.
Hans, I like that example a lot. It actually ties beautifully in our mission statement. Make processes work for people, companies, and the planet. Like, thanks for that. And Agnes, I have a question. Like we also announced a more strategic level of our partnership within our Celosphere announcement. And Charles Lamana also said Microsoft and Celonis can transform how enterprises run, right? We also have seen that AI today, everyone knows there's a huge potential, but it's not always fully leveraged so far, right? How can process intelligence help operationalize AI, and how can Microsoft and Celonis with a partnership actually put together those ingredients that really make it productive?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for the partnership, and I think what we did together at Uniper is a great showcase of how it comes alive. It's actually interesting to look at the combination of driving AI transformation and process intelligence, and I'll start with Microsoft. We look at ourselves as the customer zero. We have different words to describe it. Eat your own dog food, drink your own champagne, you can choose, drink your own whiskey, could be also an analogy here. But we are starting from the process point of view, right? I mean, we are really trying to say, how can we marry intelligence on the one hand and get rid of all these fragmentations, all the silos, but really be very close to the beating heart of our company, a 50-year-old company that has many, many processes, and how do we basically build AI transformation on top of this? And only with those two things working in synchronicity, we can drive our own AI transformation. So I'm very fueled up by what we see with Uniper. I'm very fueled up by what we see at Microsoft. And I think if those two things work in combination between our two companies, then there's a lot more that we can do here. And looking at the entire stack, there is no way to get around process intelligence, and there's also no way to get around a secure cloud foundation, but then also the AI application layer. So together, I think it becomes a very good and very whole story.
Well said. Thank you so much.
And I'm looking again now at Hans. I know in the video we saw one of your use cases, but as you're planning really a company-wide wall-to-wall deployment, can you tell us a bit more about where we stand and the progress of the entire endeavor and also the value you get from it?
Yeah, picking up what you said on full stack and also what Agnes, but also Alex, you mentioned. First of all, for me, that's capability building. Capability in terms of process awareness on the one hand, but also working with AI. And that is not given. Now, the way how we do that in Uniper, for example, that we have rolled out Copilot for every workplace. So since 2 years, we are working. Actually, we have a utilization rate of 76%, where everyone in the company is working with AI on a daily basis. Now, that inspires. But you need to have a cloud foundation. Without cloud, it's not working. You also need to have data platforms. And we talked about the different fragmented data platforms. You need to consolidate them. Then you need to have a proper API management. Sorry, tech, but that's important. You need to orchestrate that. You need to have a process orchestration layer. And then you also need to have an agentic layer. Now, all of that is a known architecture. And what you're referring, Basti, is that we want to build that kind of capability also from a technology stack, because ultimately everyone should play with that. That's not restricted to IT. It's not restricted to a single function. It should enable everyone in this workplace. That's at least our idea.
No, I think that's also very exciting. What is so much fun for us, really working together with Uniper. Really, as as you say, like this capability building, that you like not take one use case or one area, but you want to bring it to everyone. When I first heard about the project, I said this is the perfect match for our technology, really to drive that, plus obviously then Microsoft's AI stack on top of that, and that's our perfect vision. As you saw it earlier, was Alex really said there is no AI without PI. As we now look into the future, and maybe first looking at Hans, like what is your vision? Where do you want to take it?
If I nail that down, let's dream for us as individuals, as workers, that I have a process-aware agent, a process-aware co-pilot. And that process-aware co-pilot helps me, as you heard with our example, and that's just one example with the hydropower plants, that helps me to manage my daily workload. So he's process-aware, he helps me, he executes, he rewrites back in other systems, and makes me much more independent from the legacy we have, which brings us into a much more process orientation, but ultimately enabling the workforce so that they can focus on their original job. That's the idea.
Agnes, like, you know the quote. Satya once said, like, SaaS is dead. It's a bold statement. Will we ever have functional SaaS applications in the future? Or is the future the next level of our partnership?
What a question. I still remember very well the day in December last year when Satya said that. So. When he said SaaS is dead. And I think we don't talk about an extinction of SaaS, but really a transformation. And I think some things will stay very, very relevant, like a system of record. You will always need it. But we kind of think about a vision of a frontier firm, an organization that is led by humans, but very much operated by agents. And what you need is dynamic, intelligent systems, the possibility to basically spin up workflows on demand in this very moment, adapted to your business requirements. So you could say, you know, give me a procurement workflow and add sustainability checks into it, and it becomes very natural, very centered on the user and on the specific business intent right now. That's our vision of where SaaS is going. Maybe not entirely dead, but definitely transformed.
I think that's a great closing statement. We can all like sit next to each other as long as there's a shared understanding. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agnes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Agnes.
Ich bleib. All right, what a showcase. Mercedes-Benz, Winmar, Uniper, and Microsoft. Truth is, we could have really filled this stage like 10 times over. We have a lot of stories in this room that are super relevant. Like take one of my favorite ones, like Florida Crystal. They just launched their AI Lighthouse program, including over 20 AI use cases to drive capital discipline, supply chain resilience, and sustainability. And it's all powered by process intelligence. And that's after they successfully steered the S/4HANA transformation and unlocked millions of dollars. It is possible to be almost on time and on budget with the S/4HANA migration, if you use the lens of Celonis, but it's a different story. Over the next 2 days, you hear many more of these. We have 120 value champions alone here today. You have realized more than $8 billion in value. I promise you, we are modest people. You don't see it in two things. How we show up at Celosphere, it's not very modest, and when it's about the value for our customer, and I think that's a good thing. Special shout out to our champions team. There are just 11 of them. They're wearing special jackets. Maybe please stand up.
Please stand up, please stand up, please stand up.
Together, this group alone have realized $1 billion in value. You can find them in the Brain Date Lounge over the next 2 days. Pick their brains. Ask them how they did it. You may call them the elite group. You know what? We call them our base. Because their story is your roadmap. And for those who aren't in the room, we have people all over the world, like tuning in, watching the live stream, and sharing their experiences in the community portal. Join them and just imagine. That's the value you all have created until now, on the cusp of the AI revolution. Now just imagine what's possible now that we can fulfill the promise of enterprise AI. The future of the enterprise is AI-driven and composable. And as we heard, it all starts with a humble process. And that's why we're fighting to free the process, to make that vision a reality. We believe processes should be designed to work best for your company and not being held captive by the systems you operate on. Systems should support transformation and not limit it. Freeing the process means decoupling from legacy systems, and it frees your agents and AI solutions from the same silos, so you can actually use them to reinvent and recompose your operations. We're fighting to free the process so that you can actually transform your operations and your enterprise. Teams can drive value, and AI can finally deliver on its true potential. That's our fight. But we also want to take a moment now and put that fight in perspective. There are other bigger fights to be fought around the world. Fights whose stakes are higher than making enterprise AI work. It's important, but not that important. At Celonis, we believe in respect, integrity, and collaboration. So in honor of those values, we want to move your attention to someone who embodies a more important fight: the fight for democracy and for freedom.
Venezuela, a beautiful country, scarred by 2 decades of authoritarian rule. A country desperate for change. A civil movement built on unity, mobilizing millions of Venezuelans, choosing ballots over bullets, dialogue over division. A voice of relentless courage, a global symbol of resilience, a call to rise and resist for the hope of a different future.
Maria Corina Machado has fought for democracy in Venezuela, confronting a brutal dictatorship. For her relentless perseverance, she has been awarded this year's Nobel Peace Prize. Venezuela was once one of the most stable democracies in the Americas and the richest in the region. Today, it faces one of the largest migration crises in the world, with more than a third of its people forced to leave. The United Nations has documented crimes against humanity committed by the regime. In 2023, she won the opposition primaries with more than 90% of the vote, but she was banned from running. Even then, she built a nationwide civic movement and helped elect a standing candidate who went on to win the presidential election by a landslide. Maria Corina has been banned from leaving the country for over 12 years, physically attacked, and seen members of her team imprisoned. Her family lives in exile, and she remains in hiding under constant threat. Thanks to technology, she's live with us today. Maria Corina, welcome
Thank you, Carsten. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. It is an honor and privilege to hear from you in this room, on this stage.
Thank you very much. It is my pleasure.
This is a deeply personal moment for us because I have 100 questions for you, Maria Corina, but I know there will be a day when you might be able to be here. I hope there will be a day where I can ask those questions. But that day is not today, because I have someone here who is more familiar with the peace process, who is also familiar with B2B software, who shared your journey, who shared the fight, and who also shared the sacrifice. It's your daughter, Anna Corina.
Thank you. Bienvenida, Mami. Makes me really happy to have you here today. It's been almost 2 years since we last saw each other. You've been barred from leaving Venezuela for more than a decade. Today, you're in hiding in an undisclosed location inside the country with constant threats to your life. I don't know where you are today, nor when we'll see each other again. Yet, even in isolation, you have never stopped fighting. Every single day, you're working to free Venezuela and our people, since as long as I can remember. Can you tell us what is happening in Venezuela right now and what brought us to this moment?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very honored and excited to have the opportunity to share all our journey with you. After 26 years of devastation, Venezuela is finally at the threshold of freedom. Venezuela certainly used to be the freest and richest country in our region. And now it has turned into one of the poorest, with over 86% of our people living in poverty. When the regime took over the country, took power, they started by taking over institutions. They destroyed the judiciary system and the rule of law. Currently, Venezuela is in the last place worldwide in rule of law. And they kept going. They took over the media, private companies. More than 1,500 companies were confiscated and expropriated. They took over the armed forces and to control society. And as Carsten said, that forced almost 9 million people to flee our country, dividing our families. But in 2023, we decided to tear down those barriers that were dividing our society, to reach out to our people, and to unite around values that identify our society: dignity, human dignity, justice, freedom, and certainly love. And that was, that longing that we want our children back home is what united a country and turned this into a huge civic movement, cultural movement, a social movement that made possible what everybody thought was impossible. And it was to defeat the regime, to have a great victory through citizen organization, through discipline and technology.
Thank you. So, technology and data are shaping the course of history, and they can be used for perverse ends, to control, silence, and oppress. But they can also be used to liberate, to amplify truth, and to mobilize people. The story of Venezuela's presidential elections of last year was a powerful example of that. Can you walk us through that movement you built and how you and your team harness the power of technology and data to defend democracy and protect the will of the Venezuelan people?
We are very proud of what we were able to achieve and what we are doing right now. Actually, in Venezuela, we use technology as a force for freedom. It has been our tool to outsmart the regime and to expose the truth. And that's, the essence of democracy. Because after more than, 25 years with more than 30 sham elections that were more and more fraudulent every time, we knew this was our last chance. We had to win, but most importantly, we need to prove our victory. And that required turning this huge social movement into a robust organization that could be present in every single polling station, defend the will of the people, collecting every single original physical tally sheet, digitize them, and show them to the world, for the world to see, for us to see. So that meant creating a huge network of organized and trained people. We called it 600K, yes, 600,000 people that were trained in basement churches, in hiding, because the regime couldn't notice what was being building. We had no media, we had no resources, no money at all. You know how much we spent in ads and publicity? Zero. This was totally grassroots. And we created our own digital infrastructure for democracy. That meant encrypted apps so that all those 600 people could communicate and get trained and get indications. We created apps for people to actually collect the QRs, capture the QRs with the results in real time. We had hundreds of Venezuelan volunteers in our diaspora working in calling centers to audit the process. And then we created 150 geo-localized, in an optimized manner, processing centers in which we smuggle Starlink antennas, power generators, scanners, and in less than 24 hours after the election day, we had over 85% of all those original tally sheets scanned and publicized in this super robust website for the whole world to see. And this was certainly the turning point in our history for freedom. We're still fighting. Venezuela will be free, but certainly we believe we have created a blueprint for electoral processes, not only against authoritarian regimes, but also for democracies.
What happened in Venezuela last year becomes even more extraordinary when you put it into context. We have the largest proven oil reserves in the world, and we're ranked top 10 globally in natural gas reserves. Venezuela should be the powerhouse for data centers and AI, yet power outages remain a daily reality for Venezuelan people, and we now have one of the lowest internet penetrations in Latin America. Yet our country is on the brink of a political transition, where we're beginning to envision, almost feel that next chapter of our country. As we look into that future, Mom, how do you see technology playing a role in the reconstruction of Venezuela? And how do we make sure it is never again weaponized against our people?
Yes. It is extraordinary what the Venezuelan people have done. But what I'm most passionate and excited about is what comes next. Because it is true that our democratic institutions have been devastated, destroyed, and millions have left. But Venezuela, as you said, not only has, unique natural endowments, resources, and it has an unparalleled geographic location in the heart of the Americas. But most importantly of all, we have our people. I dare to say Venezuela is the most cohesive society in the region, perhaps in the world. 90% of our people want the same. We want to live with prosperity, with justice, with dignity, with freedom. So, and paradoxically, I believe the fact that, everything is so devastated that we have the opportunity to start from scratch with no frictions to the degree of transformation that we will build, because we are going to design the most transparent, connected, and citizen-centered democracy in the world. And it's going to be totally decentralized, irreversible transparency where citizens can have secure digital identity, instant access to services. Every government transaction will be visible in real time. We'll have open data and blockchain mechanisms for citizens to audit power, and a state-of-the-art privatization platform so that every citizen can be clear of how we will open markets and transform our country. And we will get sure that technology is never again used as a weapon against our people. So this is a revolution on dignity. We will prove that a nation can rise from tyranny and become the most transparent, innovative, and productive and accountable democracy. So I end up saying that I believe Venezuela is the next global frontier for innovation and wealth creation.
Yes, it will be. Mama, congratulations. You've just received the Nobel Peace Prize. What an incredible honor. And I don't think there are words to describe how proud I am of you. And I've been asked multiple times how it felt like as a family when we received the news. And of course, it caught us all by surprise. But it was, frankly, a bittersweet moment. On one hand, it is the highest recognition anyone can receive. It was a recognition not only to your fight, but to Venezuela's fight. But on the other hand, it was a stark reminder of the long and painful journey we've lived through as a nation, and of the many sacrifices we've had to make as a family for these last 20 years. What does this prize mean to you personally, and why, as you've told me before, it honors a universal cause that goes far beyond Venezuela's borders?
Well, first of all, on a personal side, this certainly is a humbling and very emotional moment, and it is a recognition to millions of people that have given everything for their love for their family, their love for freedom, and their love for homeland. It is a recognition to thousands of political prisoners, their family, human rights defenders that have been so brave speaking out. It is a recognition to every single Venezuelan that has been forced to leave their country but are longing to come back. It's a recognition to their mothers and fathers that stayed back so that their children can join us and reunite in a great country. And it comes in a unique moment because it has boosted this huge energy to finally finish our job, our mission, to conquer freedom. But certainly, it, as I've said, it honors a universal cause, because the Venezuelan civic movement for democracy is in essence a fight for truth. It is also the defense of human dignity. And certainly it is a precedent for the rest of the world, for others, in terms of see us as a mirror, a warning sign that nations should have safe words to defend weakening democracies. So at the end, this prize is a powerful statement that courage in the face of oppression really matters. It is a statement that peace requires freedom, and that freedom requires strength, moral strength, spiritual strength, and certainly physical strength. And Venezuela will be free, and we will bring you, our kids, back home. Thank you.
Gracias, Ma, por venir. I know that one day, and I feel it closer than ever before, I will see you again in freedom. Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and enjoy Celosphere.